78 Sports TV here. So I'm checking out my boy Boxing Beats and Rhymes page.
Doing it from Boxing Beats and Rhymes channel.
This is Tony Thompson, chilling with Boxing Beats and Rhymes. Everyone is chilling with Boxing Beats and Rhymes. This is that mere hardcore man store on Boxing Beats and Rhymes YouTube channel.
I don't know if you want to answer. Possible Manny Pacquiao fight with Floyd Mayweather. How you feel about that?
Well, basically, it's a fight that still has the potential to happen.
Right, Shawn, it's Lee Simmons. I'm UK boxing blogger from the UK. You right?
How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, not too bad. Is it alright if I just do a little introduction? I've got a few people on the call today. I've got a few questions for you, and then I'll open it up to the panel. Is that alright?
You guys got Ken Porter on the line as well.
Cool. This is UK boxing blogger coming right back at you. Today I'm joined by the former IBF champion of the world, Showtime Shawn Porter, and his father and trainer Kenny Porter. How are we today, guys?
Just fine, man. How about you guys?
Yeah,
everything's good.
Thanks for coming on the show today. Right, guys, I just want to go over the Kell Brook fight beforehand, and then we'll go a little bit about the future, if that's all right. The build-up to the Kell Brook fight caused some controversy over in the UK. Obviously, we found out a few weeks before the fight, no contracts had been signed, or a month or so before. Well, what was the situation from your end? Obviously, we heard a lot from Eddie Hearn. Didn't really get to hear the Porter side of it.
From my point of view, it's just, a lot of things I did right and a lot of things I did wrong. What you expecting?
Shawn, he's asking you about the contract signing.
Oh, I didn't understand this question.
Sorry, Shawn.
Go ahead and you answer that one. I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, what actually happened with the contract signing? Obviously, Eddie Hearn and the UK press were.
Oh, I don't know, man. I think we're way past that. The fight happened, so I don't think the contract situation matters at all. The fight was signed, and we fought August 16th, and the fight went as it went. I don't think the contract situation is worth even talking about.
Okay, yeah. Well, I do apologise, Shawn. He said obviously there was some reaction over here, like it was all built to build the fight. But okay, Oh, sorry, Shawn.
Well, I was just gonna say, you expect that, with an international fight like this, it just takes time. It just takes time, and I don't know if there was any fussing done on Kell's behalf, but there was certainly none done on my behalf. But it just took some time, and the fight finally worked out.
Right, yeah, no, it was a great fight. So in the fight itself, though, Shawn, the tactics from your end didn't seem to change too much throughout the fight. Is that because you felt like you were winning the fight?
I think it was two things going on. I think number one, I felt like I was doing what I needed to do to win the fight. And and then the other thing as well is, a little bit of a mistake on my behalf by not making, adjustments. But again, in the heat of the fire, I thought I was doing what I needed to do to win the match. And so I felt that, pressing him and continuing to stay busy was the right tactic needed to beat him. And, it just didn't turn out that way.
Yeah, of course, because I think, did you see the Carson Jones fight, especially number one? It seems like Kell Brook did have, if there was a way to beat Kell Brook that we'd always seen was to put pressure on him like he did. And to me, you put more pressure on him than Carson Jones did, and you bring a lot more power and strength. Did anything surprise you about Kell Brook when you got up close?
No, I think looking back on it, maybe the one thing that surprised me or that I didn't expect was I didn't expect him to hold up the way that he did. And, he fought just as hard through 12 rounds. And, I thought that, coming to the match, I thought that I would be able to break him down. But my hat's off to him. He was prepared for the match, and he was strong enough to make it through the match, which is one thing I didn't intend on happening throughout the fight.
Right, yeah, it was an excellent fight. Obviously, it was a very close fight. Obviously, as a UK fight fan, we see it as it was very close. And maybe the hometown champion should have got the nod in a close fight like that. But it was a great fight all round and great watch. But going forward, Shawn, is there any change in your training methods? You know, like, is there
At this point, nothing just yet. There are some things we are going to do to kind of, change up some of the things we need to do in the ring to defend certain things such as holding or, other fouls that may occur in the match. But right now it's just a matter of getting back in shape and working hard and, getting where we need to be back at, world championship level so that we can add and implement some of the things that we need to do to be better in the ring.
Yeah, so you're currently in training at the moment. There isn't an opponent named yet, but have you got anyone in the pipeline or anybody you want to fight?
That's a question that I would allow my dad to answer. I've told him point blank, I think, on 2 or 3 separate occasions that, I'm at a point in my life and also in my career where I feel that I can fight against anyone, I can beat anyone, and I will, fight whoever they put in front of me. So, he and Al Heyman have been speaking on a regular basis, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And I think we're looking at Showtime in January, but nothing has been announced or said to me just yet. Maybe my dad can give you some more insight on that.
Right, yeah. If I can just ask Kenny a question quickly, is that okay, Kenny?
Well, we don't have an opponent. The closest that we have as far as a date would be somewhere in mid-January it could be beginning of February. It has not been determined exact date yet, and the opponent hasn't been determined. There are a few names that they are throwing at us. We're interested in all of the names, all of the fights. If we could have our way, we take the winner of Amir Khan and Devin Alexander. Mm-hmm. We don't know how, people don't understand how boxing works. That's not how it works. It's not, you get to fight the guy who's ranked number 2 or the guy's ranked number 1. If you guys take a look at the rankings, you'll see we're no longer ranked at all by the IBF. I wonder why that happened. So, we just have to be prepared for whoever they get for us.
Right, okay. So what's it like working with Al Heyman on your part, Kenny? There's a lot of rumours going around that it's maybe very difficult to get fights with other, say if you wanted to match Shawn up with Pacquiao and some other top ranked guys, it's Al Heyman himself who makes it very difficult. Is that true representation of the good work that he does, or?
Have you heard the same thing about Top Rank?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's not a situation where anyone is beyond reproach. Everyone has the same situation going on. Everyone has, their positioning. So Top Rank generally doesn't bring their fighters to the table with Al Heyman fighters. For quite a while here in the last few years, Top Rank wasn't bringing any fighters to the table with Golden Boy fighters. Golden Boy wasn't taking any fighters to the table with Top Rank fighters. It's just a part of what's going on in this sport. As far as my working relationship with Al Heyman, it's an excellent working relationship. And to this point, we are very happy with, what's going on, with what we've accomplished. We know we have a lot more to accomplish. Shawn just had a birthday and he turned 27, so he is in the prime of his boxing career. We expect to fight 4 times in 2015. If we can get one of those fights to be a rematch with Kell, that would be great, but I'm quite sure that there has been no talk of a rematch.
No. Is that as obviously because he was in a mandatory position and there was no options of a rematch clause or anything like that? Is that the reason behind that, or could you Is it?
No, that is the choice of Kell Brook. He has no interest. His, Eddie Hearn, if you're listening and when you hear this, we're definitely interested and ready for a rematch. Please give us a call. We can get that done. We don't have a problem with that, none whatsoever. So, there's no talk of that rematch because they don't have an interest in that rematch. I would like to start that conversation. I would like to start that negotiation.
Yeah, that would be a great fight. The fans would love to see a return. Would you come to England for that fight?
We'll come to England for the fight because we don't have a choice but to come to England for the fight. But we need an invitation.
Yeah. You can't come without an invite. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can't come without an invite.
Can I ask you a question? Right. Again, this is rumor. See, there was a lot of talk going on after your fight that Shawn Porter was obviously not just a normal world champion. He was the next big thing, and he was in not hometown, but he was in the US. He was in Carson. If Kell Brook come over, it was a close fight. And he never got the nod. And some people were saying that it's because you weren't signed to Golden Boy, stuff like that. Do you feel that you not being signed to a promotional company might have hurt you on the scorecards that night? Or is that just theory?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? It kind of was muffled.
Right, sorry. And basically, some people have suggested, there was just some rumour going about that, obviously, because you're not officially signed with Golden Boy, that might have impacted on the scorecards that night.
You know what? I don't know. I don't look at it that way at all. I have to give Kell credit for coming to the United States. I have to give him credit for fighting 12 hard rounds. And he got the decision whether or not I felt that we, lost the fight or won the fight. It has nothing to do with our promotional situation. But with that being said, if we fight him again or whoever we fight in the next fight, we won't have a promotional company backing us. So we have to go in there and we have to do our job, and we will keep that in mind. Thank you for that information.
Right, no problem at all. So there's no imminent deal with you signing with any major promotional companies at the moment, then.
No, we have been approached, and there were some really nice offers made, but Shawn and I are both. We're happy with the relationship we have with each other, and we're happy with the relationship we have with Al Heyman. So, at the end of the day, Shawn only has to report to me, and, Al and I, we decide what's best for Shawn, and I report to Shawn, so we don't have anyone else that we have to deal with, and that's the way we like it.
No problem. Thanks for all them answers. Is it right to have Shawn back on? Is that okay? Hello, Shawn. Hello, Shawn.
Shawn?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello. Yeah. So how's sparring and training going? And how are you feeling in your own body at the moment? You're feeling like you're coming back to peak shape?
Yeah, everything's going well with training right now. Everything we've been training. I don't even know how long now. The days just go by. I would say we've been back at it 3 weeks after the fight, maybe a little longer than that. So we've been going for a while. For a minute there, it was just a lot of track work and bag hitting. Once we started sparring, I was just working on strictly defense. But now we've been able to get some better guys in the ring and kind of go a lot more full go. So I would say at this point, things are going great. Weight is finally coming down where my dad wants it to be. So right now, life here in Las Vegas and training and all that good stuff is it's going as expected at this point, I believe.
Okay, so when you spar, Shawn, you spar with, do you prefer to spar with high level sparring opposition? You know, I've heard you sparred with Pacquiao and stuff like that. Who'd you bring
Well,
down?
you know what? I do prefer to spar tough guys, bigger guys. Anyone who knows me knows that I love to be challenged, especially in the ring. And so with that being said, when it comes to my sparring and my training, I try to do it at a high level, and I'm hoping that there's always a high opposition ahead of me, for me to pull out the best of me. If not, sometimes I do tend to get a little lackadaisical or lazy in the ring. So I like to go against tough guys. That way, there's no excuses, and I'm always at my best.
When you spar, Shawn, so like you're sparring at the moment, is it technical sparring, defensive sparring, or or do you just go all full in? You like to spar full?
Oh no, it's everything at this point is definitely technical. I think that's one thing that my dad does a lot different from most coaches out there. Is he's a very technical coach. He likes everything to be A1 and as close to perfect as it can be. So when we spar, we are always working on the technical side of everything we do, making sure punches are thrown correctly, making sure defense is 100% where it needs to be, and everything else from there on.
So when you do all your track work and stuff like that, Shawn, what kind of disciplines do you do? Do you have any training techniques that you do differently to any other fighters to accommodate your explosiveness and quickness?
Yeah, I like to think that everything we do is a lot different from most fighters. We train year round. Not many fighters do that. But specifically on the track, my dad has hired a track coach who has been with me now for, I believe, a year now. His name is Coach Larry Vade. He was a world-class sprinter and hurdler, and I think my dad hired him to basically train me and make sure that all of my energy levels are being touched, not just one or two, but all three, in every workout. So he has ways and methods of training me, taking me through sprint drills and workouts that will test me, motivate me, test my heart, my body, my mind, and also build up everything as well. And we've been going with him for about a year now. So yeah, I think that everything we do is a lot different than most fighters out there.
Yeah, of course. Also, while we're talking about this, and Victor Conte, how did your relationship form with that guy?
I would say I have a pretty good relationship with Victor Conte. I see him a few times a year. We go out and use his facility, when we're at our peak part of our training camps. That's when we go out and train with him. So I would say in the last year, I've probably trained at his facilities, I would say 5, maybe 6 times in the last 3 fights. And so I think we have a pretty great working relationship with him. That's, again, only carried out when we go out to San Francisco, to the Bay Area, to use his facilities.
Okay, yeah, so there's the Shawn Porter training regime. Train like a champion. So let me ask you the biggest question. How do you feel you match up against Floyd Mayweather?
Actually, just thinking about that, man. Was thinking about that while I was just training. I think I match up great against him. I think I have everything that it takes to beat him. I think, one thing standing in my way at this point right now is just my mentality throughout a fight. I think one thing that I didn't do against Kale was through 12 rounds, I didn't make the right adjustments, do the right things at every point in that fight. I think that's one thing that you always have to do with Floyd, is you have to be ready at all times in the ring throughout 12 rounds. And, you can't give up anything, not 1 second against him. So that's one thing I've been working on as well, is just my focus and my mentality throughout a training session, and, hopefully being able to implement that in my next fight.
Okay, so I heard about a gym. Are you looking to start your own gym up?
Yeah, actually we are. My dad could give you more information on that, but I'm looking forward to it. I think that was one of the biggest reasons we moved out here. Number one, to put ourselves in the boxing community as close as we could be. Number two, great weather, great training, and number three, to get all that we can get out of this sport while we're in it. And I think along with that comes opening up our own gym, our own facility, and having access to everything we need at any time, any day. And again, my dad could dig in a little bit more on that. On the name of the gym and, when he's expecting it to be open and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, yeah, we'll get some of that. What I'll do is I just want to ask you a couple of questions before I open it up to the panel, because I've got a couple of people on the line with me today. What did you think about B-Hop and Kovalev? Were you watching last weekend?
That was a very tough fight for me to watch. I watched Bernard Hopkins be beat. It was just cut and dry. He was beat, and there wasn't much he could do against Kovalev, and that was kind of hard to watch. But again, man, you can't discount anything that Bernard has done up until this point in his career, and even at 50 years old, taking on the biggest and the baddest in his weight class is just another testament to the true champion he is.
Yeah, just adds to his legacy. I agree with that. That was a very high level challenge to take at his stage of his career. And all props. Good fight to watch though. So if I ask you for a couple of predictions for some up and coming fights, so how do you think the Algieri?
You can ask me what I think, but I don't make predictions. So go ahead.
Pardon? You don't make predictions?
No, I don't make predictions, man. Anything can happen any time in the ring.
Yeah. Okay, you see Algieri Pacquiao, you think that's going to be a good fight this weekend?
I think it's going to be a good fight. I'm looking forward to it. I think Algieri's going to do a lot better than most people expect. I think most people are counting him out. I've seen him, especially his last fight was a great fight. He fought hard for 12 rounds, and I think he has what it takes. I don't think he has what it takes to beat Manny, but I do expect him to put up a good fight and make the fight competitive.
Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly ask and answer the panel, see if there's anybody there. Boxing Beats and Rhymes there. Wants to have a question for you, Shawn?
Yo, Shawn, how we doing?
Yes, I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. I was one of the few people who actually had you winning the fight against Brooke, and because I'm from the UK, I got called everything from a traitor. I nearly had to get a passport and fly to where you guys are at. So, but I just wanted to ask you. You're saying you want to fight about 4 times next year. Do you find do you get to fight often enough? Do you feel, or is that something do you think that hinders your career? Not hinders your career, but would you like to fight more than what you do?
I like to fight more. Looking back on 2014, I actually thought I had fought more than I had. I only fought 2 times, but it felt like more. So my dad knows what I want out of this sport. He knows that I like being in the ring. I like the feeling that it gives me, and I like to, just compete and be out there in the public eye. So he knows what I want. He knows that 4 times next year, if not more, is gonna make me happy. It's gonna bring more success to me, our team, our family, and so if possible, 4. If there's 4 quick fights, we'll look for 4 more fights. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I do want to be busy in 2015.
So what is it? Is it just red tape and politics, and it's just a lot of stuff to organize so many fights a year?
Yeah, you know what? That's it, man. It takes time to organize a fight, and I think as long as it was successful in the first match, we'll try to make that second match as soon as possible, and we'll carry on from there. But yeah, it is kind of difficult. Just organizing the fight, I think that takes some time as well. So I think that's kind of what happened this year. Is just time just kind of caught up with us with trying to make these fights, but next year we are certainly looking forward to getting in the ring and stay active and be a little bit more active in 2014.
Excellent. So how are you staying motivated after you lost your belt? Is that a silly question? You must be more motivated than ever
Yeah, well, it's hard to say. I can't really say I'm more motivated. I've always been, very determined and driven. But there are times when I'm training and I may think back on a fight or think back about Kel and it just fired me up sometimes. So I definitely think going into my next fight I will most likely be fired up, just due to the moment and due to being back in the ring and all that good stuff. So I would say certainly not less motivated, but I don't know if I'm any more. Okay. But I do certainly feel good and looking forward to.
If you don't mind, can I just throw one to Kenny? Kenny, you there?
Yes.
Yes, I just wanted to ask about sparring because I see Shawn spar 4 guys on a truck, and then you put him in there with Spadafora, who's he's quite a good fighter. How do you gauge how hard he should be going, or if he's not going hard enough? How do you gauge that? Because a lot of people say fighters can burn out through sparring, and some people say some fighters today don't spar hard enough.
Well, I mean, let me put it to you this way. And if you get in your car and you gas your car up and you drive in your car and you decide to take a long road trip, you know how much gas you got in the tank and how far you could go. So if you decide to take a long road trip, you got to go fill the car up with gas before you take that long trip. You got to get it tuned up. You got to make sure the tires are good, oil has been changed, and it's ready to go.
Okay.
So that's how I decide how far or how much Shawn can spar. I know how much gas I've got in my tank. I know if it's tuned up. I know what my tires are looking like. I know if my oil has been changed. That's how I decide. If those things aren't ready for the road trip, we don't take a long road trip.
Okay, so it's basically you have to know your fighters individually, really, before you make them intake what Shawn's doing, because not every fighter's capable of doing what Shawn's doing, obviously, on that sparring level. So
no, yeah, exactly, and not only that, also what you have to understand is some of the level of the competition that he may be at, he may be able to work on certain things with them that he couldn't do with a higher level fighter. Okay, guys, I got Shawn Porter.
Okay, so we was talking about the sparring, and you had a great answer there. Obviously it depends on the fighter. Shawn is a very physically strong, accomplished young athlete. But I wanted to ask, you see Bernard fighting at 49. Surely you guys don't plan to stay around that long.
No. Shawn, how long do you plan to be a professional boxer?
I'm going to do as long as I can. I still got more to accomplish, so I don't think I can put a timetable on the things that I have to accomplish in my career. So as long as that takes, that's as long as it will take. After that, then I'll talk about retirement or what comes next.
Excellent.
Okay, is Chris Caban now?
I'm here. My question is, I watched the Porter Brook fight 2 weeks ago, and I felt that Brook was doing a lot of holding. Do you think the referee should have took some points, deducted some points from Brook?
I thought that during the fight, I just felt he held a little too much during the fight, and I thought that points were deserving to be taken from him, but it didn't happen. So it's my job in the future to do a better job of not being held and not being not allowing myself to fall into certain traps such as being held or clinched or whatever.
Okay, my second question.
Hey guys, can I say something in regard to that?
Yes.
Okay. It is Shawn's job to make sure that he doesn't get held. It is, it's something I identified. If you go back and watch the fight, it's something I identified in the very first round when Shawn came back to the corner. The first thing he was told was, you've got to put combinations together, get around this guy so that he doesn't hold you. Okay? So what I'm expressing in the very first 3 minutes of the fight is this guy is here to hold. That was his intent. His intent was to hold. If he was moving away from us, if he was blocking our punches, if he was, clinching and releasing and throwing punches, that would be different. But he was holding to the point where in the first 3 minutes of the fight, I said, you got to break free from this guy that he doesn't hold you. He has been clocked in the first 7 rounds holding 80 times in the first 7 rounds. I'm not going to make no excuses, but I guarantee you he will never be able to hold us like that again. Please consider taking the rematch and see if we can get that done. If you did it once, if you're able to get the victory, let's see you do it again. I want to see it happen again. Make me a believer. Let's do it again.
Yeah. Did you hear about the Kell Brook injury? His career's been put on a bit of a sidetrack at the moment. He's obviously going to be coming back early next year, but he got stabbed over in Spain. Did you hear about that?
Yes, I did hear about that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So maybe sometime.
Yeah, we hope him. We wish him a fast recovery. That's a bad thing to hear. We don't want to hear anything happening to anyone that is involved with the sport of boxing, or anyone outside of boxing for that matter. So we wish him a speedy recovery on that.
Right, well said, Kenny. Have you got a second question there, Chris?
Yes, my second question is for Mr. Porter. Do you have any other fighters that you are training currently?
You know what? Right now I'm working with former world champion Paul Spadafora. And we have only been working about a month right now. But I fully expect him to be able to fight on Shawn's undercard when Shawn fights in January.
Okay.
What kind of level opponent for Paul would be on the undercard? Would he be working his way back up, or would it be quite a high level opponent?
No, the first fight back, it won't be a high level opponent because I don't want him on. I don't want him on TV on the first fight back. But he's got one loss. He's got 49 wins and one loss, and that loss is to Johan Perez. So at some point in time here in 2015, we'd like to get a rematch with Johan Perez.
Yeah, that'd be an excellent match to make.
Okay.
Is Bin Umar got a question there for Kenny or Shawn?
Yeah, I got a question. How you doing, Shawn and Kenny?
Real good, real good. You from the U.S. or the UK?
Oh, I'm from New York, man.
Okay, I like that.
I was present when Shawn won that world title, and I was rooting for you guys, and I was happy to see that. But
thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Can you guys answer this one question? I always want to know because we produce a lot of fighters over here, but it seems like from you guys being from Ohio, the Midwest, you guys produce a lot of great fighters. Can you tell me what it is that you guys do down there to produce so many great fighters?
Something in the water.
Something in the water.
Is that you, Shawn?
Yeah, I said something in the water. No, man. There's just a lot of talent from Ohio, especially Northeast Ohio. But there's just talent all the way around. You look at any part of entertainment. Ohio has something to do with it. I can't really say about any other area or any other people or anything like that. But I know my dad and I, he's come from one of the rougher areas of our city of Cleveland, and it's kind of built something inside of him that has just genetically and through life been passed down to me, and we are just what I consider bred fighters. We do what we have to do to survive. He did what he had to do to survive outside the ring, and I do what I have to do to survive and win inside the ring. So I think just overall where we come from, it's just made us who we are. And fortunately, we chose a great sport to be a part of. It's a family sport, and I love that part of what we do. Is we are not only a team, we are a family, and I think for us coming from Ohio, that's why we are so successful.
Okay.
Let me add on to that. From the guy from New York. I think part of it may have to do with as well. Like, you guys got some really good fighters out of NYC, out of New York. Some really good fighters, but I think a lot of you guys are also playing basketball. Okay? I think a lot of guys out of New York area also may be playing baseball. In Ohio, we kind of tend towards football and also basketball, but not as much as you guys. And then, of course, we got LeBron and we've had some other players, but, we're not really that big on the baseball. And then comes the boxing. So for the inner city type kids, a lot of them, like Adrian Bronner, Arashi Warren, Shawn Porter, they play sports, basketball and football. They play those sports, but they really gravitate towards the more, the more physical sport of, boxing. And I think that, a lot of your gifted athletes are playing basketball and playing baseball, but you guys got some great ones out of New York. You Danny Jacobs and, some of the other fighters, is Saddam Ali's. Big shout out to him. Great job a few weeks ago. You guys got some great fighters out of New York.
I got one more quick question for you. Since you brought up football, and me knowing Shawn used to play a little football, I want to ask y'all, how y'all feeling about them Cleveland Browns this year? Because they looking kind of good.
I mean, I feel you probably talking to me more than my dad because he don't support him the way I support him. But man, I feel really good about him. We're getting to a point now where we're actually being able to win some games, which is pretty cool. Before, we were being blown out. We went through a little spell where we were doing good, but just not good enough to win. And I think our team is finally finding an identity, running the ball very well, and then occasionally throwing the ball well as just a little inconsistent right now. But I think overall the Browns are really bringing a lot of excitement to Cleveland and around the NFL too, and which is pretty cool to see. And I'm excited every Sunday. I'm excited to watch them.
Okay, Kenny and Shawn, I got one last question for both of you. I want to bring up Keith Thurman. Is Keith Thurman on a collision course with yourself, Shawn? Is that a fight you'd like to take sometime in next year?
I think it's talked about enough that it needs to be. I don't know if we're certainly or if we're necessarily on a collision course at this point in our careers, but I do see ourselves, the two of us, eventually getting in the ring and duking it out a little bit. I think that's a great fight for him and I both, our careers. I think it's definitely a legacy fight for me, and I think it is for him as well. And I think it's a fight out there that just about every fight fan in the world wants to see, which is pretty cool to see how much we're talked about. And we have no clue on the timeline of when we will get in the ring, but I think he wants to do it. I definitely want to do it. I think it'll happen one day.
Okay.
So you reckon that fight's got to be done at the right time?
Exactly. I think it needs to be done at the right time. I've been told that, by a number of fight fans as well as promoters, managers, my dad. So I'm sure when it comes to it, it will happen. And
yep, that'd be a great fight, man. That'd be a great fight. So, guys.
Thanks for having the guys on the line today.
Yeah.
So that's another Boxing Beats and Rhymes, Bin Umar, Chris Caban, and UK Boxing Blogger production video out.